Hello, I'm Keith Jowers, and I'm founder of Dads for Life, but this is our new show, Dad's Garage. This is our first episode, and we are so excited to bring Dad's Garage to you as part of what Dads for Life does to help dads all across the world. We're so excited where God has brought this ministry for the last 17 years. And being a nonprofit organization, we have built on everything that we have done over the past 17 years. He has actually led us to do and gave us ideas to do in helping to bring the dads and their children back together. Kind of like bringing the hearts of the fathers to the children and the children's hearts to the fathers. So we want to bring that back together. So last year during the pandemic, I was invited to an event at a place called the St. Augustine Classic Car Museum here in St. Augustine, Florida. It was for a graduation because you know how things were back then. They were having to piece together graduations and parties and events to try to help the kids understand, well, you know, even though there's a pandemic, we are going to have your graduation somehow. So I came to an event here at the St. Augustine Classic Car Museum event. And the first thought I had was, well, why am I going to a classic car museum event for a graduation party? Well, then I realized that it's an event center as well. The owners are Sydney and Brenda Hobbs, and it has been a phenomenal dream that they've had for 30 years. They've been piecing this dream together, and last year during the pandemic was their opening year. So you're going to be hearing about that at the end of the broadcast because I'm going to be interviewing Sydney Hobbs, the founder of this wonderful place, where you can bring your kids and your family to a place that really God has given him a vision for classic cars and bringing people together. And it's an amazing place. So this is our opening, Dad's Garage, and their sponsor all year long to help out Dads for Life bring this show to you. So in this show, we're going to talk about basically there's 7 things, like 7 traits that are common among fathers who are involved in their children's lives now and as their children grow, but through life, and what makes them successful dads. But you know what I'm finding out? I'm finding out that a lot of dads aren't trying to be everything they can be to their kids at that time when they're born, but they've learned a lot from other dads as they have grown in their own fatherhood journey. But there's some common traits that they have that seem to be the actual, well, thing that kind of brings them and their children together over time. One is just basically being patient. You're not ever going to work out everything at the same time and have patience with each other. You're going to have to really work that out sometimes. So having patience, being honest with your children, having, loyalty with your children. If you tell them you're going to do something, then you want to make sure that you're there to do that. We're going to be talking about in this program, Dad's Garage, how to lead by example, how to actually be moral with your children and teach them morality, which is really some things that really need to be taught this day and time. We're going to teach you basically some things about being loving and being open-minded with your children. So these are kind of some traits that are common among successful dads that I've dealt with for 17 years. So that is kind of the basis of Dad's Garage. But we're also going to be talking to some dads over time about dads that, well, maybe have passed on. Maybe their children are now thinking about all the memories that they had and the legacy that they left behind. And when they're gone and they've actually been an impact in your life and they've helped you get through life, well, that's some things that are going to be, down the road are going to really help them, but you're going to be gone. But I tell you what, it's going to be a blessing that you taught them how to really be successful in life. When I come to this place at the Classic Car Museum, I think about restoration. There's a lot of dads who need to be restored with their kids. And sometimes in recent years, I've actually talked with dads who did not even know that they had a child, and sometimes down the road they realize that and they restore all those years that have been lost. Or maybe they just weren't involved in their children's lives, and they have to restore that. So I want to talk about restoration some. And with the classic cars, I look around here, there's over 98 cars within this museum from 1895 to 2020. That's 125 years of restoration that's gone into a lot of these vehicles. And they look great. They're beautiful. They're shiny. But they haven't always been. And sometimes relationships that I work with, the dads, as a dad coach and a legacy mentor, as I've been called by some, is simply that I try to help dads restore relationships if they haven't had that relationship with their kids. So Dads for Life is bringing you Dad's Garage because maybe we need to work on our relationships a little bit with our children. Maybe it's not perfect. Maybe you haven't been involved. You've been wrapped up all in your work or your activities outside of home or whatever it is, your sports. You really haven't paid attention to your children. Well, I wish I had had that. But see, my dad died when I was 11 years old. So then I started thinking about, okay, how am I going to learn to do this or learn to do that? Because I had nobody mentoring me, nobody guiding me, except a single mom, a widowed mom, who was really trying hard, working 2 jobs and trying to pay the bills. So I thought, well, you know, mom's working pretty hard. So at 12 years old, I got a paper route and I started helping my mom pay the bills at 12 years old. And I took care of her, helped, I did my best for 46 years. But it wasn't until my young adult years that I actually met a couple of men that really took time with me. One led me into my career that I did for 30 years, and one told me how to do business and how to treat people in business. And those 2 men, even though I didn't know them as a teenager, I met them at the right time in my life because it kind of catapulted me into the future. So Dad's Garage, well, we may have to work on some things, but we're going to be working on that over these next shows that we're going to be doing. And I want to bring back, now when we come back from break, Sydney Hobbs, who's been restoring cars and actually fulfilling this dream that God gave him way back when he was young as a child. So his first car is actually here too that we'll be showing you as well. So we'll be right back at Dad's Garage, our first show with the founder of this wonderful place, Sydney Hobbs.
My dad wasn't there.
My dad wasn't there.
My husband passed away. My daughter misses her daddy.
What do you do when you don't have a dad?
I search for ways to be a man.
I shut off my feelings and I started to act out.
But your life can change.
Dads for Life.
It's like-minded dads getting together and helping each other be better men.
Dads for Life helped me understand the value of being a father.
Yeah.
Dads for Life makes me excited to be a dad.
Dads for Life helps widows and their children through the Ella Fund.
Dads for Life helped me after my divorce to keep my focus and to help me be there for my kids.
Now Dads for Life is asking for your help so we can help more dads.
Please pay it forward.
Skip eating out for lunch for 1 week.
You can give 5 or 500. Any little bit counts.
Your support will help dads receive weekly mentoring.
In finances, like budgeting for child support.
In communication, helping to build relationships with your child and the other parent.
In personal development, support for career goals and leadership skills.
Please help one dad
For 6 months.
For just $200.
and help him become a dad for life.
Dads for Life.
Dads for Life.
Dads for Life.
Dads for Life rocks.
I don't think that's what they want.
Dads for Life. Hello, I'm Keith Jowers, and we are back with Dad's Garage once again. And I have the founder of this magnificent museum that we've been talking about today, the St. Augustine Classic Car Museum. And I want to welcome Mr. Sydney Hobbs. Welcome, Sydney.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, you got to tell us. I mean, I've been showing them, talking about, how fatherhood is kind of related to classic cars and restoration, that kind of thing. So tell me, how did all this come about for our audience?
You know, it started really when I was a little kid. My dad and I loved cars. We never could afford a classic car growing up, but we always loved them. And he used to take me to dirt track races at night on Saturday nights, and we just always had a love for cars. And I finally was able to acquire my first classic car in 1984. It's actually right here beside us. And that really started it all. And I started with one and started buying and selling cars, and it turned into two, and two turned into this.
So one car that you wanted or were able to purchase back in what year?
1984.
1984, which was what's the
A
car?
1961 Corvette.
1961 Corvette. So if you take that, your dream that you had back then, and it's turned into a dream all around us here.
Yeah. Well, it all didn't happen at once. Over 35 or 40 years, a lot can happen, and it is eat the elephant one bite at a time. We always had big dreams. I just dreamed of owning classic cars. Yeah, in the back of my mind, I would have loved to have had a place to keep them like we ended up having this, but I can't say that 35 years ago I dreamed of this. I just dreamed of having classic cars. And over the years, God blessed us, and He gave us opportunities to have more. And then when we had more, it attracted other people that had an interest in classic cars. And that gave us opportunities to do other things. And through those opportunities, it kept growing. And it ended up growing into this.
So folks that are around the North Florida area or those that travel here, how can they be a part of this?
Yeah, well, we're at 4730 Dixie Highway in St. Augustine. We do have a website, and it's CCM St. Aug, CCM St. Aug at gmail.com. And they can go to our website. They can call me, call Brenda. We'd love to talk to them. We're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 till 6 every day, so we'd love to have them visit.
And I believe you consult with folks that have classic cars, maybe not know what to do with them, or we were
do.
discussing that earlier. Kind of elaborate on that a little bit.
We do. We have about 100 cars in inventory almost at any given moment. About 2/3 of the cars belong to us. We do store cars for individuals, so we get to show a lot of individual classic cars that don't belong to us, but the owners let us show them. So we store classic cars. If they want me to help them sell the car, I will help them sell a car. We do get a lot of people that walk in the door for whatever the needs may be, and they want us to sell their car for them. We're not a dealer, but if you think about us as Match.com for cars, if you're looking for a car and she's selling a car, we put you together, and then I back out and let the people take care of the deal. But we know a lot of people looking, we know a lot of people selling, so we kind of match everybody up.
My grandfather had a 1965 Ford 100, F100.
Oh, nice.
And
I have a 66 outside.
oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that vehicle out there, and
Yeah.
it just really brought back memories. And I wish I had bought that car, that
Yeah.
truck back then when it was in his estate, and I did not do that. And
Yeah.
but I can tell you that there was a lot of trips in that truck that I made with my grandfather.
Yeah.
And so they do bring back memories, don't they? I
Yeah.
mean, and that's kind of like when I teach and work with dads, I talk about create memories with your
No
kids.
doubt, no doubt.
And tell us about your daughter and how the memories you've been creating with her with these cars.
There's so many stories, and to touch on memories just a minute, that's honestly what these cars are. People walk in here and they walk around and they either owned one or wanted to own one, or their grandpa had one, their father had one, they picked up their kid from the hospital. These cars represent memories, and they bring back those memories so vividly that very few things can do what a car can do for memories. But one memory of our daughter is a girly girl. She's a junior at the University of Georgia. She's a fashion major. Fashion and automotive doesn't usually go together. But we finally were able to merge those two worlds. I'll make it a real quick story, but she's the president of her sorority. We're very proud of that. But she was doing a bid day for the recruitment of the new girls. So her bid day theme was Grease, and she wanted a 50s theme. Well, I have a 57 Thunderbird. I had a red one at the time. She wanted a pink one. So I bought her a pink one, sold the red one. We took the pink Thunderbird to Athens, put it in front of their sorority house, and that was her photo op for all of the sorority girls that were joining her sorority. So it really gave us an opportunity to merge her world of fashion and college and sorority with my world of automotive. And it was really one of the first opportunities that we had to kind of have our worlds collide a little bit. So the memories we made as we were leaving, she goes, Dad, you know you can never sell that pink Thunderbird. I go, it's yours. So we made some great memories, like I had with my dad over the years with cars.
You made a great memory with her.
We did.
I'm
For one
sure
day, I
of
was a
that.
cool dad. I was a cool dad that day in Athens, Georgia,
Well,
yes.
we as dads, we try to be cool
We try
as
to
much
be
as
cool.
possible.
It's
but
hard,
sometimes
yeah.
our coolness doesn't really relate to what they think is cool, right? So
It
but-
never relates to what they think is
Right.
cool. Yeah. But we
So-
try, so.
So Sydney, I've been intrigued in it. Actually right after you opened, I think I came to an
You
event
did.
here. So you offer the space too for event center, right? So you tell folks about that a little bit.
We do, and we're a 501c3 by nature, so we are a charity. We are a Christian-based organization. Our slogan, as we discussed, is you can't outgive God, and we try every day, but we're unsuccessful in doing so. So that's one thing that we have not been successful at, and we hope we never are. But we have an event space, and we do offer that not only for charitable events, and we do a lot of charity car shows, cruise-ins, things like that. But we also offer it for meetings, birthdays, anniversaries, corporate events. We've done 2 weddings here. We've done some memorial services for car guys that passed away and his family wanted to have a memorial service here. So we do have an event center that we can do that as well. And we do work very closely with other nonprofits and charities that we will take care of them if they need a space to meet. All they got to do is contact us and we'll work with them on it. So.
Well, I talk to dads sometimes about building a legacy and leaving a good legacy and and so forth, and making sure all their papers in order and that kind of thing when that day happens.
Yep.
So we have to think about the future. Unfortunately, sometimes we don't want to think about the future because
right.
of where
We
it's
have to.
leading. But
Yep.
but we are leaving a legacy, aren't we?
Well, we try to, and I think whatever legacy we leave behind really reflects more on what our kids see us, how we live our lives, than what we have. People walk in here and they think that, I was going to try to get through this, they think the legacy is the cars. That's not the legacy.
That's right.
The legacy is what we're doing with the cars. The cars are the vehicle, no pun, or a pun intended, that we're using to get us to where we want to be with the legacy we want to leave behind, that our daughter sees that, a passion that we have to do what we love to do has turned into an opportunity to give back. And if we can leave a legacy of that with our daughter and with other kids and other people that come in here, God doesn't mind you being successful. God doesn't mind, I don't
Absolutely.
think, us having a lot of cars, as long as we don't lose the perspective that they're just cars. But if they can contribute to leaving a legacy that can improve someone's life or bring them to Christ, that's the best legacy in the world that I think we can leave behind.
Absolutely, and I totally agree. Well, folks, we've been talking to Sidney Hobbs today. He is the founder of the St. Augustine Classic Car Museum here in St. Augustine, Florida. If you're ever in this area, you need to come visit Sidney and
Please
Brenda
come see us. We'd
at
love to
this
show you around.
wonderful place. And I'll tell you something, you are leaving that legacy with what you're doing here, and this is why. This past Saturday, and we'll let you tell a little bit about that, what you do on the 4th Saturday of every month. I was here at a car event, and I walked up on a father and a son under an engine of a car. And this kid was about 10, 11 years old, and he was literally explaining to him how the carburetors used to work,
Yep.
and this is what Dad used to work on when he was a kid with your grandfather and that kind of thing. So explain to us, what do we do on the 4th Saturday of every month?
Yeah, the 4th Saturday we do Cars and Coffee, and it's 8 till 10 a.m. It's very quick, short, and sweet. We give free coffee, free donuts. People cruise in at their leisure. There's no charge to come to the cruise in. The museum is open for admission. We give half price during that 2-hour span. But people just come in and socialize, and they drive their cars, and we all talk cars. And here's another thing interesting about cars. Since we opened here in June, and even going back as long as I've had classic cars, not one time have I ever had a single person ask me, what's your political affiliation? What's your religion? What nationality are you? What's your gender? Nobody cares.
That's right.
Nobody cares. They want to talk about cars. But through that, we're able to talk about things that they want to talk about or that we want to talk about. So it's a very interesting dynamic, and Cars and Coffee is a great venue. Can I tell you one more story about legacies?
Absolutely.
So the civil engineer that helped design this place for us, his name's Rob Matthews, great guy. He has a 15-year-old son. And he came to me. He's not a car guy. He's a great engineer, but he's not a car guy. He said, my son and I want to build a car. And I go, okay. So make a long story short, they decide to build a Camaro. But in the meantime, he had a Model T that his grandfather had purchased brand new. Hadn't run in 25 years. He said, can you help me get it running? Of course. I went and picked it up. I'm making the story very short. Went and picked it up, brought it here, got it running. He and his son came the other day. This was 2 weeks ago. Mr. Matthews drove the car for the first time since he was 6 years old. So he's the third generation that car has been passed down to. His grandfather purchased it, remember. His son had never driven a car before. He was 15 years old. The first car he ever drove was that car. 4 generations in a 1923 Model T. Talk about legacies to leave behind.
That is great.
So the Matthews family, that car really spanned 4 generations, and his 15-year-old son got to drive his great-grandfather's car as the first car he ever drove.
Oh.
And it wasn't planned. It just
my goodness.
happened organically. So it's kind of cool.
But those kind of things happen when you have a place like this
You do.
built around the center of God.
You do.
I mean, I
You do.
truly believe that what you're doing here is magnificent. I believe that it's going to carry on further.
Thank
And
you.
Dads for Life is going to help you carry that, because St. Augustine Classic Car Museum is our sponsor all year long, and we're going to promote you as much as we can for the remainder of this year and beyond, because I do believe what you're doing is very important.
And we appreciate that. And if there are any dads out there with a son or a daughter, and they want to try to get closer to their son or daughter, and they think that we can help them do that, if they'll call me, I'll make it happen. So.
And you see, that's what happens organically, because we did not talk about that.
No, we
That is
didn't. No, we
awesome.
didn't.
So,
All they got to do is call
well,
me.
folks, that's been the Dad's Garage today, and I wanted to end it with the founder of this wonderful place that we've been talking about in our broadcast. So, Sydney, I appreciate you so much.
Thank you, sir.
And we are going to send some people your way. I've already been doing that, actually,
Thank
but now
you.
we're going to do it through our network of a lot of folks. So,
Well, God bless you
All
and
right.
what you guys are doing. We're happy to be a part of it.
God bless you. Thank you very much.